So today I am going to show you how to build an interior wall. Not that an exterior wall is that much different. There are some things that you just got to be aware of when building exterior walls. But since this is an interior wall, this is the way I build it. I do here, just ignore this screw for right now. Is what we'll do is we'll get a tape measure and we will measure out 16 inches. So some of the tools that you're going to need is a square, a tape measure, a nail, and a hammer. Let me go get a nail and hammer. I'll be right back. All right, so we got a nail, hammer, square, pencil, and nail. So what I'm going to do here, tape measure laid out. What I like to do, this is just me. Well, first off, I take that back. Let me start off first. First off, you need to make sure that both boards are perfectly even on the ends. 100%. If they're not even, you're going to have issues when you go to set up your walls. Second thing is, and I know sometimes, especially with the lumber today, it's difficult to find decent lumber, but you want straight lumber as best you can in all directions. You may or may not get that, but we'll go ahead and get started. So what I like to do is I like to measure out 1.5 inches right here. And then I go back 1.75 inches. So then what's going to happen is, I'm going to put an X here. This is where a board's going to go. Well, right now I'm going to put a nail right here. So let me go ahead and do that. There we got our nail on there. Want to make sure that this is perfectly straight, which I think it is. It doesn't matter like a great deal if it's perfectly level, but you do want it somewhat as straight as possible so you can get it. There we go. Then what you do from here is I like to just stretch it all the way to the end here. And just kind of just leave it right there. And then what I do is I'll find the 16 right here and then put an X on the left. Find 32. X on the left, 48, X on the left, 64. And you do this every 16 inches. If that's what you're doing, if you're doing 16-inch walls, this is what you do to build a wall. And then down here at the end, now I know this is a short board, but my walls or my rooms are not that big. So if I had a 16-footer, let's say for example, what I would have to do is I'd have to cut up a 16-footer to make it room, which I don't want to do that. Or I have to get nominal boards, which is 12-footers. So the thing is, So for me, here's another thing too. I'm out in the middle of nowhere. I have to drive no matter which way for like a major store. I have to drive 30 minutes at minimum. So sometimes I just have to use what I got on site. Otherwise, I have to spend 30 minutes going to the store, 30 minutes back, so I waste an hour. I do like the delivery option, but the delivery option you have to wait a lot of times. But regardless on wood, you can't use. I take it back. You can use delivery options. I will get a lot of deliveries here from the major cities around here, but they charge you fees for doing that. Anyways, let's go back to what I brought this up for. So right here, since this is 92 inches, we'll come back an inch and a half. We'll mark this, and then we'll put an X here. All right. That's our first board. We'll take this, line it up. And then what we'll do is we'll come down here, make sure our boards are straight. Just to make sure, double checking. And then what we'll do is we'll line up. Sorry if you didn't see me do that. We'll line this up, and then what we'll do is we'll make a mark all the way across the board. We'll just transfer the mark to the other board. Also, too, you need to designate a bottom plate and a top plate. I'm going to make this board here my bottom plate. I'm going to make this the top plate. So on bottom and top plates, you typically want, I take it back. You want your, I'm going to change this. I see a notch in this board below. You typically want your good boards, or the better of the two, like as your top plate, if memory serves me correctly. And then you want your bottom plate, it can have some deformities like this one. So I'm going to make this one my bottom plate, make this one my top plate, because this is the better board. And it'll just line up everything. Also too, I want to show you what wall I'm building. I'm building this wall right here. I'm not sure if you can see the lines. So I'm building this wall right here, and this will be a supporting type wall, is what I'll call it. And I'll make sure that, so then once I get this in here, I'll have to put brackets up here and attach it to the wall, to the studs. And then this will become a support wall. I've had some people say, like, well, your trusses, you really don't need actually support walls, but I've always learned that anything that goes this way, that goes against like the opposite direction of the truss is a support wall. And anyway, anything that goes in line with the trusses is not a support wall. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's just the way I learned to have support walls. And in all essence, I don't see how it wouldn't be, because if I'm thinking about this, right, you're going to transfer the weight, any load that comes onto the board, you're going to transfer the weight down to this wall, and then all that weight is going to be transferred down to the main beam, and then the main beam, well, I take it back, you're going to have your joist. It's going to transfer the joist, and then from there, the joist will transfer it to the main beam. And then from the main beam, it'll transfer it to the pillars, or, the block wall, or whatever you have for your foundation. And then it'll transfer it down basically the pillars and the block wall are tied into your foundation, and then it'll transfer that load into the foundation, and then the foundation will transfer the load into the ground. That's my understanding of it. I could be completely wrong, but that's what I've always understood it to be. All right, let's get back to what we were doing here. All right, so sorry I got off on a tangent. I'm gonna mark this. Oops. I'll come over here. All right, next one. So again, we get down here to the end, and what we'll do is we'll measure 1.5 inches out, and then we'll just mark this out. So that's basically, this video is getting kind of long. I'm trying to keep my videos within reason. I don't want to go an hour long starting out. I mean, this is only my second video, so I don't want to go super long on these videos that I'm doing to start out with. And sorry if I'm being jerky with the phone, because that's what I'm using right now. But basically, that's how you lay out a wall. And I'm just going to cut this video short. If you guys have any questions or comments or anything like that, just post them below, and I'll try and respond as best I can. And I'll try to respond accurately to any questions that you guys may have or anything like that. Thanks for watching, and have a good rest of your day.